wait for a little bit. Turn down my goddamn phone volume. But yeah, we're just gonna wait around for, a few minutes. Like 12 minutes. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Yeah, there's that. sitting here is kind of fucking boring. So, maybe I'll just jump into it. Probably. Yeah, we'll wait for a couple more minutes. Sure, we'll just start it at 5. So that's 5 minutes from now. Everything should be good and set up and ready to go. And I'm alone in the apartment, so definitely gonna be better than that God of War review. Just, that one was just so fragmented. So we'll probably end up redoing that one. Doop doop doo. Hello, hello, and welcome to the stream review. We're gonna get started in 2 minutes. Hey Riley, yeah, thanks. It's fine. Hopefully I don't hurt anybody's feelings with this, but I'm just trying to shed some truth into the matters of all these pretentious video games that have failed in my eyes. All right. Hopefully I'm loud and clear, and nothing's going wrong. But my headset is definitely coming the fuck apart. So it's strange. Well, that's good. It hasn't entirely collapsed on itself, but it is definitely trying to leave its own bindings. All right. Time has arrived. um, oh, I don't know. It's a headset I got at Walmart, I think. Yeah, alright. So, Resident Evil 7. The survival horror franchise from Capcom. It's good. It's good. So, Resident Evil 7 was created because Resident Evil 6 failed in so many players' and critics' eyes as a survival horror game, which they would be correct because it's not a survival horror game. So Capcom decided to bring back the survival horror aspect and a new first person point of view glance if you disregard the other games that were in first person point of view, like Survivor and the Umbrella Chronicles. So if you just disregard those, this is the very first Resident Evil first person point of view survival horror. What's going on, Nightlife? It's going, man. So with this new take on the survival horror aspect to rejuvenate the Resident Evil franchise, Capcom decided to bring us Ethan Winters, new protagonist, give us a whole new slate to I don't know what they were trying to do with Ethan. But they gave us a new guy. So that could enhance the horror and survival aspect of it. So that that is a good start for them. Um, we get into the game and we're going after our wife who has been missing for 3 years. And I'm not too sure about anybody else, but if my wife was gone for 3 years and I heard nothing, the bitch could stay gone. Like, yeah, whatever. But Ethan is very devoted, so he goes after Mia, and which leads him to a backwoods country house in Louisiana. And there we meet the Baker family, and they are just a normal ass country home that's been infected with mold parasites. Yeah, that's weird. But anyways, the whole thing with horror games is you need to have either spookiness, creepiness, or something that's just disgusting or deterring that you just don't want to visually admit to seeing. And I'm from the South. So I've seen a bunch of country folk and weird ass creepy cabins in the woods and places you probably just don't want to ever be late at night. So yeah, the atmosphere is okay, but just because you have a southern accent and speak a little uh, unpocious, then that doesn't mean that you're scary. Uh, the Baker family really looked like normal people up until, you ran over Jack and set him on fire, and until Marguerite decided to open up her disturbing little spider nest vagina. So yeah, that one was good. But their kid, what's his name? Yep, I can't remember their son's name. Can't do it. Why? I mean, he was just a sociopath and saw one too many Saw movies. So the family is just a regular ass family on the outside until the game gives you the appearances of they're infected. So Lucas, oh yeah, it's not a very common Southern name, Lucas. Anyways, they wanted to bring survival horror back, so they give you this creepy little setting with a house, and that's where 90% of the game is taking place. And that's fine. You get keys and puzzles, and that's the Resident Evil early stages tropes, which is fine. Um, but you go into it and try to break down the survival horror aspect, and you get not so much needing to survive and not any kind of horror whatsoever. And what I mean by that is, I mean, I'm not scared by country folk at all. And that's half of the scare value here. The other half are the mold creatures, which they just look like humanoid black figures with sharp pointy teeth heads. So I mean, yeah, I could see where they might be a little unnerving, but they weren't scary. They walked in a predictable pattern. They didn't really do much to instill that fear, because you just shoot them in the head a couple times and their head blows off and you don't have to deal with them anymore. So I didn't understand the horror that they were trying to give. So that entirely failed for me. The survival failed as well, because throughout the house and throughout the yard and throughout the little boat area that you go to later on, there is stupid amounts of ammunition and healing items. So to make to make your game a survival game, you do not need an overabundance of supplies that help you live through some mistakes. So I mean, you could get hit one time in this game and heal and never run out of heals, unless you just get hit every 3 seconds and never try to shoot anything. Then yeah, but then you just be a shit gamer. Now, we're going to load up my file, and going to show you the items that I have at the very end of this game, just to further provide some support on how much ammunition and heals that I do actually have from my very first playthrough, and the only playthrough I've ever done, because I found this game to be supremely disappointing. That little girl was creepy, but she wasn't real, so that took it away from me. And after I make this point of the items, we'll get into why I think this did not deserve the Resident Evil title. Yeah. Nope. Just, yeah. We're gonna let her kill me. See, and this could have been more grotesque, but we're falling back into moldish things, and nah. I feel like Resident Evil 6 did it better with the fake Ada white shit everywhere. Come here. I got a present for you. I'm pretty sure that's my like 800th time killing Ethan. And I can see where it could be sort of a jump scare if you're not really, if you're really deep into the game. Did I click the right button? I don't know. Yay! Alright, go away. Okay, so, excuse all this mess. Because it's a goddamn mess. We'll just store all that. Thanks. Store that too. And sort. There we go. So, pretty sure I got every gun in the game. But, could be missing one or two. Okay, so here we've got 60 handgun ammo. And 24 enhanced. 47 shotgun shells. 504 machine gun rounds. 400 burner fuel. A little bit of mag ammo. There's some first aids, and here is all the things that I can heal with. And then I can make more ammunition if I wanted to. Yeah. And the rest of the stuff is just whatever. Doesn't matter. But yeah, so I've got an overabundance amount of items that I could heal with and ammunition that I can kill with. And this is the very end of the game. So that survival aspect that I was mentioning earlier, just, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like over here, I've got plenty, I got too many hills, but whatever. Grenade launcher rounds, that's fine. Another small hill. No, it's unnecessary. Unnecessary. So, why do I feel that this does not deserve the Resident Evil title? Because if you play this game from start to finish, you are giving 3 pieces of evidence that tie in the Resident Evil universe to this game. You get a little clip mentioning Umbrella, you get a little clip mentioning Raccoon City, and you get an actual file you get to keep talking about bioweapons. Just that specifically. Without those three pieces, and without the end of the game cutscene with fake ass Chris Redfield, you wouldn't know this is a Resident Evil game. Without the title, of course. So, could this have been a better independently IP'd addressed game? Yeah, it could have been. But they wanted to throw the Resident Evil title on it. So, where's all the other information about Mia and the mold and all that stuff? That is in outside sources that you'll have to read, that you'll have to view, that you'll have to watch somebody else clue you in on. So, it's just bad writing on top of bad scare tactics, on top of bad survival aspects, on top of a bad designed atmosphere towards anything that's survival horror. It's just terrible. Now, we're going to get to the part that's fucking Chris Redfield. Just go. And it's just ridiculous how Capcom wants you to believe that this is Chris Redfield. It's just so bad. There are a few jump scares in this game, most notably. Hello. No, how about you equip it? Like, there are a few jump scares in this game. But the only one that ever got me was when Marguerite jumped out you when you were trying to get the thing. Did she kill me? No. Okay. So when you're trying to get Marguerite's lamp thing, and she jumps out you in front of the door. That's the only jump scare that got me here. Jack was not terrifying at all, because every time he'd bust through a wall, he'd Ethan, I'm gonna get you. And when you put on a clown voice to try to instill terror, it's not gonna work. I mean, unless you're just, I don't know, just scared of a fucking fly. Lady, I'm gonna need you to let me reload my gun, okay? I remember you doing this to me last time. Maybe you don't shoot her. I don't know. I got plenty of ammo, so why not shoot her? I mean, it's the last thing you do in the game. Why not use ammo? I need you to fuck off. Boo boo doo boo 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 doo boo.
Playtime's over.
And that's not terrifying either. Like, it's not scary. It's just little bitty moldy tentacles. Here it comes. At first, when I saw this, I thought they were introducing a new Redfield. Just someone's cousin or long-lost brother. Because that guy is about half the size of Chris Redfield from RE5. Or RE6. And looks nothing like him.
I'm Redfield.
No, you're not.
I'm glad we found you.
No, you're not Redfield. So they could have just had anybody else. Anybody else. Yeah, he obviously ditched the roids. You know, he stopped punching boulders and he stopped doing a bunch of stuff. But in no way, shape, or form will I ever be convinced that 2, 3, 4, 5 years later, that can be metamorphosized into Chris Redfield. Just it's terrible. They should have just left it open, as in just yeah, say I'm Redfield, but make it a new guy. I'm, Steve Redfield. Nobody gives a shit about me, but here I am to save you. I'd have been fine with that. Fucking Charlie Redfield. Go for it. You want to put that C on there so bad? Charlie. It'd have been great. Little B stats. First time playthrough. That's all good. So Resident Evil 7 fails on informing you why it is in the Resident Evil universe. Gives you way too much shit for it to be a survival game. Doesn't do a good job of terrifying you unless you're scared of country people and mold. Then this game is terrifying. I give you that. Like, I have arachnophobia, and Marguerite didn't terrify me. Because I had a flamethrower, a grenade launcher, and a magnum. Who'd have known? Bullets take away my fear. But yeah, she was the creepiest thing in this game. So, I'll give them Marguerite. Well, in the beginning of RE7, they force-fed Ethan slug mac and cheese, and that's how he became infected. But really, I mean, Ethan. He is one of the most monotoned protagonists I've ever come across in video game history. He has short bursts every now and then of actual emotion, which is fine, but there's not enough of it. There's not enough moments where something happens and Ethan reacts like a normal goddamn person would. Like, what do we know about Ethan Winters? Nothing. We know dick about him. There's no backstory. There's no voice lines where he says, I'm an ex blah blah blah. Yeah, the whole stapling his arm back, just, that shit didn't make any sense. But then again, I can excuse all of that because this is Resident Evil. It's not supposed to be in the real world. So, magic staples and magic hill juice, sure. I'm fine. I mean, for fuck's sake, they eat herbs and it gives them life back. So I'm fine with that. It's whatever. It's whatever. But Ethan himself, like I said, monotone, short bursts of actual emotions, and no background. We don't know what Ethan is at all. Is he ex-military? Is he a photographer? Does he sit at home and circle jerk with his fucking centipede? No idea. Just none. I'm clueless. So, if you just put normal person into this situation, they're not going to be that well adept with a gun. They're not going to know how to piece together a flamethrower. They're not going to have their arm cut off or hand cut off and not react throughout the duration of it. Yeah, he gives like a 5 second, oh god, oh god, oh god, but that's not enough. Like, system shock would set in. And all the other things. Like, he tries to act like a badass later on in the game, telling Jack to go fuck himself, but at that point, he's just so far unbelievable that I didn't care what he had to offer after the halfway point in the game. He's just not a character that would instill hope or an aspiration of survival that they wanted to actually produce. So, why was this game such a huge success? I have no clue. First person point of view, that's cool. Yeah, that was creepy. VR mode, even more so. Because you're actually there. So yeah, I mean that was interesting. That could go a long way, which they're doing that again in Resident Evil 8. So yeah. And do I have more hopes that RE8 is far superior than 5, 6, and 7? Yes. I do hope it is a better game. I do hope it is much better. And it gives us, something. But they give you Ethan Winters. And I don't really care about him. It's just, there's not enough in Resident Evil 7 to make me care about Resident Evil 7. If they would have added a backstory to Ethan to give me some sort of, okay, he's not going to be a scared bunny rabbit. He's actually has the ability and opportunities to man up and, face his fears and conquer the hellhole. That would have been better. If they would have gave us anything on why Mia is working with fucking mold creatures outside of the little bit they gave you at the end of this game, that would have been better. And of course the outsourced material. That's you should never ever have to play a game and then find the answers to your questions in that game and a manga and a separate movie and a newspaper clipping that was only in Japan or some fucking comic strip that was released way back when. Like, you should never have that. They should do that inside the game itself. The game's not $30. It's full price. So put forth your effort into that. And at least let me drink that beer. That would make the game better. But Resident Evil 7 for me was just so far from the mark. It just, to me, it is the worst game in the Resident Evil franchise. I prefer Survivor more than this game, and that game was complete shit. It was easy and just boring. But this game was sad and just disappointing. So, the shit out of 10 review, this game is definite shit. It fails on every aspect. Every single one of them. It's not a survival game. It's not a horror game. It shouldn't be a Resident Evil game. And none of the characters I give two shits about. I didn't care if Ethan lived. I didn't care if Mia lived. I didn't care if Zoe lived. And if you pick Zoe to live anyway, she fucking dies anyway. So, what's that kind of choice? You know, just there's nothing in this game made me care about the game. Yes, Riley. I'm going off on how poorly this game translated to me, and yeah, I mean that really concludes it all. It's just it's shit. It's definitely shit. Um, Now, first timers with Resident Evil, I can understand the appeal, but for people who have played this game from its beginning roots, have spent 20 years with this franchise, this game is an abomination of fuckery. It's just not healthy to produce something like this for somebody that's been playing the games since the PlayStation 1 era, or someone who is even the mildest horror fan. And you get this, just nah. Resident Evil 8 could be a lot better. It definitely looks better. So maybe this was just a little pothole to further catapult a bigger scheme. But that only time will be able to reveal to us. And I hope they have corrected some of the mistakes that I complain about. And for the love of fuck, I don't want Frankenstein, werewolves, or vampires in my goddamn Resident Evil. Zombies was enough. Bioweapons was a step above that. And that's where it should be. Bioweapons. Yeah, Riley. If this game was not titled Resident Evil, if it was just something else, some independent game, I would like it way more. I would still gripe that Ethan is boring, and I wouldn't be scared of the Baker family, and there's way too much ammunition and healing items in the game. But that's minor complaints when it's a separate IP game. But when you tag the Resident Evil on there, then you've got an entire backstory of lore to cipher through. And they didn't really impress me. Yeah, the Baker family were the only characters, like, once you've read the files, you started caring about them because they got fucked. They didn't want any of this. They didn't have anything to do with all of it. They just they got used. And then the parasites took over. So yeah, I mean, they're the good people. And that scene with Jack talking to Ethan at the close to the end of the game, yeah, that was heartwarming. But I mean, they only have these little moments to where you actually care about what's going on. Hmm. Hmm. I I can see where you're getting at with crossing DNA and the werewolf vampire thing. I mean, I really can, but do they have to be that obvious with vampires and werewolves? Like, they gave us ogres. I almost called them trogers. But they gave us ogres and trolls and weird creepy shit and tentacles everywhere and fucking bats and crazy ass stuff. Like, sure, just yeah, it's not too far of a stretch to want to believe that werewolves and vampires are there, but that's just I think that's just lazy producing. Werewolves and vampires are overdone. Just stick with something that's not gonna like. If I saw a vampire, why would I go near it in the day at night? I would just, I would just, you know, I'm gonna stand out in the sun. Fuck you. And werewolves, I mean, if we don't get a silver gun in the game, how are we gonna win? Or maybe our knife is silver? I don't know. Resident Evil 8 has a lot of questions, but they also have a lot of room to answer everything. So maybe maybe in 6 months we'll be able to figure out the Resident Evil 8 thing, and I'll make a review on that. But yeah, that is gonna sum up the Resident Evil 7 review. I can't care about this game any less, and for it to be held in such praises is really insulting to my gamer self. You know what would be good if they explained all that stuff, Harvey? If they would just confirm the Code Veronica twins and produce from them. Then I can be on board with crazy ass vampire things. But they have to be inclusive. Yeah, maybe we could do that too. Just start from the beginning and just pick apart every Resident Evil game that we can, for the good and the bad. Like, overall, the Resident Evil franchise for me is still a beloved franchise, and I look forward to more. But RE7 was the worst thing that I've come across, and a lot of people think that RE6 was that. And yeah, so it's a it's not a popular opinion, But then again, I don't go with the masses either. If a game's good, it's good. If it's not, then I just don't say it's not good and don't give anything else for that. I believe this game is not good because of the bullet list of 17 fucking things that I can complain about to back it up. So, thanks everybody for coming out and watching and chit-chatting. Um, it's going to be uploaded to YouTube, and maybe we can spark some conversations there in the comments. So yeah, I mean, could this game been a bit could have been better? Yeah, it had its moments. It did, but 11 and a half hours of gameplay time and 5 minutes of moments just really isn't enough. Yeah, thanks again, everybody, and I'll catch you guys next time. Later.